This is the 2026 Honda Prelude, and this is the 2026 Acura Integra A-spec with technology package. And in today's Vehicle Visionary video, we're going to compare the two and see the differences and similarities between these two vehicles. If you want to know more about this Integra, check out the link down in the description of the video. I don't have a link to tell you with the Prelude right here, although it's always for sale for the right price, but this is my personal car. If you want to know more about buying this one, tell me down in the comment section, as long as you're not one of those scammers that says, what's the price? So, obviously big differences. One is gonna be a sedan, one is gonna be a coupe. But as we look at the front end, we're gonna see that both have some very good styling. Full LED lighting here with the Prelude. We will have the LED projector beam style headlights, LED daytime running lights and turn signal indicators all incorporated into one. But you can see that it has a little bit more of a sleek, racy look with the lines. It looks almost like it's in motion when it's really not. When we come over to the Integra, we're gonna have those jewel eye LED headlights, but notice they're not projector beam type like with the Prelude. LED turn signal indicators, LED daytime running lights, and then that's going to be a big difference right here. We're going to have the active air curtain, kind of small, but it is here, built into the front end on both sides. The grills are going to look very different from one another. If you're looking for more of a stylish look that I'll say looks more sporty, the Prelude is definitely going to do it with this smaller area right here, a little bit more down on the bottom. Gonna have that blue right there. This is a hybrid model for those who may not know, and some gloss black down here. Seems to be holding up decently well so far. Hopefully it stays that way. That does tend to show a little bit more damage. Now you will find the gloss black on the lower portion of the front end here with the Integra as well. But when we work our way up, the grille is going to be very different. It's gonna have the classic Acura look. I always like to say that it looks like somebody threw the Acura badge into the center and everything is flowing away from it. Some people say it looks like it's flowing towards it. Both models going to be front-wheel drive. That's your only option. But when you look at them from this standpoint, I do like how both have nice lines on the hoods. With the Integra, it has that classic Acura look that you would expect to find. This is a little bit different from any other Honda that is currently out there, although it is closer related to the Civic than anything else in the lineup. And here on the front end of the Prelude, we're gonna have 19-inch wheels, actually at all four corners. We're gonna have the gloss black finish and the blue with the Prelude logo right there on the brake calipers. We'll work our way up with the manually folding side view mirrors, but everything else you'll want is going to be here. Turn signal indicators built in, heated and power adjustable, blind spot monitoring is built in. Now here is a really big difference between the two. The door handles. You're gonna have these deployable door handles. Normally when you walk up, since I've been standing here for a while, it's not gonna do it, but when you walk up, you can program it to actually pop out just like that. You reach underneath and you open the door just like that. That's gonna be quite different than what we have with the Integra. Another big difference between the two, no sunroof, at least not as of 2026. For me personally, that's a good thing. I don't want a sunroof. If you want a sunroof, you're gonna have to go with the Integra because that is available there. Both will have the hatchback style rear, although this is gonna look a little bit more racy compared to the Integra, but both have great styling regardless. LED lighting on the rear back here. But once again, that's gonna be a big difference as far as our overall look goes. Gloss black down here. We're gonna have, again, that blue right here with our styling, and no exposed exhaust outlets. Prelude logo will be prominently displayed and Honda right here, as opposed to having the Honda logo itself. And one thing you most certainly won't find on the Integra is what we have right here. This actually is active and is meant to help aerodynamically. The air actually follows the contour of the door all the way back to where the rear tire is right there. Just one of those neat little things that Honda has done with this particular model. And as far as your wheel size here, these are 18-inch wheels. Still gonna have the gloss black finish, but you won't have that dramatic look with the brake calipers as you do on the Prelude. But there is one big difference that we're gonna talk about in a little bit that may have something to do with that. Your A-spec badging will be right here. We don't have any badging on the fender on the Prelude, but personally I like that. Now, once again, we're going to have turn signal indicators built in, heated power adjustable side view mirrors with blind spot monitoring built in, but manually folding once again. Now, as far as your door handles go, more of a conventional style door handle, obviously not deployable. I don't think that's too big of a deal for most people. And like I mentioned, there is your sunroof. So if you want it, it's going to have to be the Integra, only the conventional size. It's not panoramic. Some people may like that, some people may not. You will also find the shark fin antenna here on the roof. I like not having it on the Prelude, just gives it a little bit cleaner look. And 4 doors, obviously we're going to have that. But again, that hatchback style back here, because obviously both are hatchbacks, I do think that the Prelude would look really nice if I had a little spoiler on the back, but I don't. LED tail lights to finish things off here, but as you can see, they're just more of your conventional style. They don't come all the way across. They don't have a lighting element here in the center. And as we work our way down, a little bit of a different look back here, still very clean, very nice. And one thing that is also different, let me move out of the scene here where you can see it, is you do have exposed exhaust. The big difference will be under the hoods when it comes to the powertrains. With the Prelude, it is going to be a hybrid powertrain, so that's going to be a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder paired with dual electric motors. It makes 200 horsepower, 232 pounds-feet of torque, 0 to 60, about 6.5 seconds. Top speed is governed to 115 miles per hour. With the Integra, we're going to have a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that again puts out 200 horsepower. The torque is going to be lower at 192 pounds-feet. It's mated to a CVT. We're going to have a direct drive transmission here with the Prelude. The big difference in the area of the transmission is that you can have a manual transmission depending on the trim level that you go with the Integra. The only transmission available is this direct drive with the Prelude. 0 to 60 on the Integra, about 7 seconds flat, top speed about 130 or so miles per hour. Now, let's take a look first at the MPGs on the Prelude. So I'm going to pull the window sticker out here just so you can see everything as I give it to you. Get that right there. We're looking at 46 city, 41 highway, 44 combined, and 2.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And as expected, not quite as good an MPG potential with the Integra. 29 city, 37 highway, 32 combined, and 3.1 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And here is your remote with lock, unlock, remote start, and your panic button will be there. Now, one thing to note here is that when the interior is locked, so is the gas door. That's nice to know. Now, as far as the gas tank details go, it's 10.6 gallons in capacity on a single tank of gas. Out on the highway, you should be able to drive about 440 miles, about 480 miles in the city. And the reason for that number being higher in the city than it is out on the highway, which is not normal, is because of the hybrid powertrain. And that's because you're going to be using the gas motor at higher speeds and higher RPMs. And here is your remote for the Integra. Now, up top is your remote start button. And you have lock, unlock, and you'll have the panic button on there. And the same thing applies here with the gas door locking when the interior is locked and being unlocked when the interior is unlocked. It's 12.4 gallons in capacity. Out on the highway, you should be able to drive about 460 miles. In the city, that number is about 360 miles. And one thing I haven't said that is the case with both models is those numbers are likely to fluctuate. You could be above, you could be below, depending on a number of different variables. And let's take a look at what we have cargo space-wise. Both are hatchbacks. Now, behind the seats right here, you have about 15.1 cubic feet. If you lower the seats down, they should be about the same at a little over 24 cubic feet. Something else that is going to be similar with both models is you don't have a spare tire with either one. Now, we do have our cargo area lighting back here. I like the space. I like the way it looks. I'm not going to get back here and show you. I will show you the back seat of the Integra, but back here is just enough back seat to say that it has 4 seats in the interior. That's about it. If I get back there, I'll be crunched down like this. My head will definitely be against the roof. And we'll open things up here with the Integra. And as you can see, again, we're going to have that hatchback style back here, 24.3 cubic feet of cargo space. It looks very similar to the Prelude in this area. And we're going to find that we have cargo area lighting back here. All that stuff's going to be here. No spare tire with either model. But one thing that will be different is I actually can get in the back seat of this Integra. Now, there's not a ton of head space back here. My head is against the roof here too if I sit up all the way, but that's just the way it is. More space either way. We're going to have the fold down armrest with the cup holders built in. I like the contrast stitching here. And we're going to have one rear seat pocket for storage right there if anybody wants to use that. No air conditioning vents back here, but in an interior of this size, I don't think it's a big deal. We do have the USB ports. We'll also have our sunroof right here. As I mentioned, that will tilt and slide open. And real quick, we'll look at the door panel over there. I do wish that it was a little more flat in the front instead of having that angle that it does. That way your arms, everything's flat, your hand, your arm, all that stuff, but that's the way it's built. And you're going to have the comfortable armrest and the door bin underneath. Now, there is a big difference between the base prices for each vehicle, but keep in mind there's only one trim level of the Prelude for 2026. Its base price is $42,000. As this one was spec'd out when I bought it, the sticker price was $43,850. Now, the back seat, as you can see, we'll take a quick look back there, is very small. I could almost get away with leaving the seats folded flat and maximizing cargo space, so I just have all that space all the time, but definitely not going to be sitting back there unless you are a little kid. We'll find with our upper console the sunglass holder right here. Have my sunglasses stowed away in there, and then not a whole lot else to talk about right here. We've got our lights right here, and your SOS button, all that kind of stuff is here as well. And with the rear view mirror, got it right here. That's going to be helpful, as you can expect. Not a lot to talk about where that's concerned. Something I do like here, we'll look across the dashboard. Number one is the design of the interior. Our color scheme here looks really nice. You're going to see the Prelude logo over there. The look of the air conditioning vents fits the vehicle. We're going to have our glove box right here. We can open that up just to show you what's there. I didn't find any gloves in there, but it's still called a glove box. And with the passenger side door panel, definitely no shortage of real estate when it comes to the armrest, and plenty of room with the door bin. Both doors will have power locks and power windows. And we'll grab the remote here and come over here to the driver's side. Now, one thing that is going to be massively different here is both seats in the Prelude are manually adjustable. They're not power adjustable. That's something interesting for this price point, but that's just the way it is. Got lock and unlock here. You can control your power side mirrors and the windows right here. You can also lock the windows if you want to. If you want to turn traction control off and do a 200 horsepower burnout, you can do that right there. And then you can dim your lights and all that stuff here in the interior, depending on what you need to do with that right there. We will have a manually adjustable steering wheel that is tilt and telescopically adjustable. Everything is here for managing the radio and your voice commands right there, and then your adaptive cruise control. Now, you'll probably wonder, if you don't know anything about these Preludes, why does it have shifter paddles on the steering wheel? Well, here's what's interesting. When you come down here and hit this S Plus button, you'll see S Plus come up there on the driver's display. That mimics an 8-speed automatic transmission. I don't know if I can get it to do it. There you go. You can see the 1 right there, and it actually brings up a tachometer. And it will go through all 8 gears, and it sounds like it's shifting and gives you the downshifts. It has rev matching downshift as you're driving. So it mimics an 8-speed automatic transmission, but it's not actually a 8-speed automatic transmission. But you can see what's going on as far as all of that goes. We're going to have everything over here for your windshield wipers, your exterior lighting, all of that will be here, and your turn signal indicators. And we'll move over here to the center screen. This is going to be the 9-inch touchscreen. Pretty easy, pretty basic, easy to figure out. We've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as you can see. Google Maps. You're going to have all of that here. Vehicle settings will be here, so depending on what you need to do, you can come in here and make settings where that's concerned. We have our back button right there, general settings. And being that this is a hybrid Powertrain powering this Prelude, you have your power flow meter. So nice to have that right there on the screen in case you want to see that when you're cruising down the road. And you can see what else is here. Not a whole lot that we need to talk about. I think it's something everyone knows about. Now, you only have a rear view camera available. That's it. It does have 3 different views with those nice bright trajectory lines. You can take advantage of that as you need to. As we work our way down, we're going to have our dual zone climate control and only heated seats. I wish there were ventilated seats available because it does get warm here in Northwest Louisiana here in just a few days. In mid-March, it's going to be up to 90 degrees already. I hope that isn't indicative of what the summer is going to be. Air conditioning controls with dual zone climate control, all of that's here. And the surround on these is actually illuminated. That's nothing new. We've had that in the Honda Civic for a couple of years now. And as we work our way down, connectivity will include a 12-volt power outlet, a couple of USB ports, and a wireless charging pad. Now, something that will be different is the shifter. It is a push button shifter. For as many people as tell me they don't like the push button shifter, I've had this for a couple of months now. It doesn't bother me a bit. It works just fine. It's no big deal. Power parking brake and brake hold mode, which I do not like brake hold mode, so I don't ever turn that on. And how about our driving modes? Let's go up to the center screen and I'll show you what we have where that is concerned. Now, we're going to actually start here in GT or Grand Touring. You're going to have Comfort, and then we work our way back up to Sport mode. And we also have individual mode. If we want to go in, we can customize that right here. And you can come in and you can see how I've set everything up as far as that goes. But you do have options for each area. So depending on what you want to do, you can come and set it up individually depending on your personal preferences with your Prelude. And we'll work our way back down here. We're going to have the cup holders down here. I've got my sunglass holder in there right now. Not a lot of space within the center console, but being such a small car, I can't say that's a big surprise. I do like the way this interior looks with the colors. What is the difference when we hop over into the Integra? Let's go find out. Now, base price, keep in mind, with multiple trim levels, is going to be quite lower than with the Prelude. It comes in at $33,400. The sticker price on this model is $40,395. Let's see what else you get for the price here. Now, we do have a different look with the interior as far as the colors go. Not a big deal. Some people probably like that more than what the Prelude has over there that we're looking at today. Here is the upper console. Again, with a sunglass holder, glad to see that. Pretty much identical to what we saw with the Prelude. As you can see, again, we're going to have our lights right there. Everything with the rear view mirror is going to be here. Like I say, basically the same. Now, the area right here is going to have some differences as far as the overall look goes. You won't have the Integra name over there the way we had the Prelude name in the Prelude on the right-hand side of the dash area. And there is your glove box. Once again, no gloves. How about the armrest? Good size, and the door bin as well. Now, we're going to work our way over here to the driver's side. By the way, I didn't talk about, there is one difference here, and that's the fact that you have your control for your sunroof. You don't have a sunroof with the Prelude. Everything here, once again, the same, except for the fact that we have 4 switches instead of 2, because obviously you have 4 windows. Lock and unlock for the windows and the doors, and for the side view mirrors right there. You'll also find seat memory, but with only having manual seats in the Prelude, you're not going to have seat memory. You do have power seats with lumbar support on the driver's side, power seat on the passenger side as well here in the Integra. Turn your traction control off there. You're going to have that same lever to adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And here we go with, once again, everything for the radio and voice commands over here, and also everything for adaptive cruise control on the right-hand side. And you will have your shifter paddles here too. Not as big, but they're still going to accomplish the job. We're going to find our control here for our windshield wipers, turn signal indicator, and everything over here. Now, there is one little difference here in that you have fog lights with the Integra in this case, and no fog lights on the Prelude. Here is the driver's display, going to have a little bit of a different look too, and that will be what you have as far as that goes. Now, I'm going to run through the driving modes here real quick, and you can see we're going to have normal, comfort, Go back up to Sport, and Individual is here. You just have to come right down here and push the button. So that is one thing that's a little bit different, but you're going to still bring that same screen up and come right here, and you can adjust everything the same way as what we did with the Prelude, just a little bit of a different method. Now, as far as the look goes, once again, this is a 9-inch touchscreen. It has a different look, but basically all the same features and functionality. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. All of your controls will be here, your vehicle settings, everything will be here, just like we saw with the Prelude. Here's vehicle settings. So a lot of those similar graphics, that does make it nice and easy to figure out what it is you're looking for, where to find that. We'll have our general settings right there. And when I go into reverse, the camera is identical, as you can see. We're going to have that multi-view rear view camera with those nice bright trajectory lines. And as we work our way down, once again, we're going to have that illuminated surround on the controls for your dual zone climate control. Only heated seats once again, but it gets the job done for those of you that need that. Now, something that will be different here is your 12-volt power outlet is on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side. You've got your USB ports and once again the wireless charging pad. One of the bigger differences here is something I already mentioned. You have a conventional style shifter. So those that are anti-push button shifter, you're going to have that shifter right there. Everything over here to turn off the auto stop start feature. You've already seen what's here. Again, the power parking brake hold mode. You do have a lot of gloss black here, so don't play the piano on that or you'll have to deal with getting the fingerprints off. Just keep yourself a cloth around that you can use, a microfiber cloth, and you can wipe those off. Cup holders, once again, it's a multitasker because the key fob is in there right now. And here is the center console. Once again, same basic size as what we had in the Prelude. We're going to start our test drives out with the Integra. One thing I did not mention earlier in the video is that the Integra has something you won't find on the Prelude, at least in this case with the a-spec with the technology package, and that is the head-up display. No head-up display currently available for the Prelude, but we'll see what happens in the future. It's an enjoyable ride quality. I'm not going to tell you it's Cadillac smooth. It's not as smooth as it could be, but it's not as rough as it can be. It has a, well, I'll say acceptable ride quality. Definitely handles nicely for a small sedan. And I find that there's plenty of room here in the front seat area for the driver and the passenger. A lot of adjustability built in here for the driver between the seat itself and the steering wheel. The technology is easy to learn and use. And the brake pedal and gas pedal, very easy to operate and adjust to. I find that the brake pedal is not mushy and not overly aggressive. So when I push on that, it really seems to follow what I need it to do, not that I need to push on it harder to make it work. So for me, that's a good thing. Now, that's why you need to drive these cars so you can see how it feels for yourself. Keep in mind, while I own that Honda Prelude, my typical daily driver is a GMC 2500, so much heavier, and the braking characteristics are going to be different. Spectacular handling here, that's for sure. Makes it feel a little more powerful than it really is. So when you need to get out and have that spirited drive, you can do that with the Integra, that's for sure. And when you need to get up to speed, it seems to do a pretty good job of it. I'm just easing into the pedal just a little bit, not too hard, but getting into it just a bit. Easy to see out of, I like that. You've got a lot of great safety features such as your lane keeping assist and all that good stuff. That's all going to be here on these Integras. Cruise on through the corners right here. Have a little bit of fun with that. Not going too crazy, but just cruising around having fun. But I like that it has a very stable driving experience, so you don't get a lot of body roll or anything like that. That shouldn't be a surprise. Obviously, there are some advantages when it comes to the Integra, depending on what you're willing to spend, that will allow you to have things such as the 6-speed manual transmission. And obviously, if you go with the Type S, you're going to be making 320 horsepower, something that at the moment is not available with the Prelude. I do think that is one mistake Honda made where the Prelude is concerned, is that it is underpowered. And now for the test drive with the Prelude. The Prelude definitely gives you a little bit more of that fun factor, while the one thing where I think Honda missed it is with the horsepower numbers. The sweet spot, I don't know, somewhere between 250 and 300 maybe. Somewhere in that range, it would be nice if you could have 320 horsepower, but it's just the way it is for now. But I think that would have made a big difference. But with the great handling characteristics, it almost completely makes up for it. It is a nice horsepower to weight ratio, so it does get down the road quite nicely and get up to speed and is a blast to drive, that's for sure. And the handling characteristics, as you can imagine, are like that of a go-kart, thanks to having the chassis components that are shared, some with the Civic Type R. So between the two, the Integra and the Prelude, if I was going to rank one as being more fun to drive, we'll say, well, the Prelude would definitely be it. Both are a blast to drive, but I feel like I'm driving a go-kart when it comes to the handling characteristics here. So I think that's a good thing. Easy to see out of. You do have all of those great safety features with Honda sensing that are going to be here, such as adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation braking, lane keeping assist, road departure mitigation, and traffic jam assist. All of that's going to be here, so you can take advantage of all of those great safety features. Gives you that peace of mind. Simple to learn technology. And once again, much like with the Integra, the brake and the gas pedal very easy to adjust to. I'm getting a little bit more time with the brake pedal here than I did on the previous test drive because of people turning left, but just the way it is, luck of the draw, so to speak. But easy to see out of. I like that. And something that does separate the Prelude from the Integra are the seats themselves. And even these seats are different from the driver to the passenger seat. The driver's seat has more bolstering than does the passenger seat, and these seats definitely have far more bolstering than do the seats in the front seats, especially of the Integra. Definitely way more than the back seats either way. But overall, a lot of fun to drive, but really meant to be more of a grand touring type of vehicle as opposed to a high-performance vehicle. So that's going to be one of the differences right there as well that you'll find, where I think maybe had Honda been more performance-minded, that it could have made a difference. I'm not the one who makes those decisions, obviously, so when it comes to why those decisions were made, I can't tell you. But in my opinion, those are things that would make a difference. More performance-focused, more horsepower. Doesn't have to be a ridiculous amount, but I guarantee you there's going to be plenty of people out there who say, you know what, for me, Tom, 200 horsepower is more than enough. But if you're looking for that fun factor, maybe not the wow factor, don't get me wrong on that, it's more of the fun factor, you definitely would want to go with the Prelude. Although, the one thing that is missing here is the ability to have the 6-speed manual transmission. And there you go, the comparison between the 2026 Honda Prelude, which, by the way, they're only making 5,000 of this year, in 2026 roughly. If you want one, I have one you can buy for the right price. And obviously the Acura Integra. Tell me what you think and which one you like most. Maybe you already own one. I'm curious to know, if you've driven both, which one you like more. Now, when it comes to the driving experience, I have to say that the Prelude, a little bit more fun to drive, at least in my personal opinion, but both great options. Doesn't matter what the situation is, you're going to be happy with either one. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at Acura for loaning us this Integra for the day so we could do this video and compare them for you. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful and greatly appreciated. Make sure to share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it, and subscribe to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and we'll see you there.